Welcome to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast, connecting real people with expert advice to achieve a healthier lifestyle and live a more fulfilling and abundant life. Here is your host, Coach Tavia.
Hello, everybody. I'm back. It's your girl, Health Coach Tavia, and welcome to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast. I am going to be your sole host today. No special guest speakers today. Sorry, guys. You just got me. But I have a lot to share today. And what are we talking about today? We're going to get right to it. We are going to talk about all the things you need to know that maybe you don't know, and the reasons why you should ask your doctor for these tests. Now, it took me many, many years to figure out my diagnoses after multiple of tests, right? Multiple of tests, multiple visits to the doctor's office. And, things just didn't add up. And, you go to the doctor, right? And you trust them. And you trust your doctor, right? To make the right decisions for your health, to benefit your health. But, sometimes the doctors don't know everything. They just don't. They have a scope of practice. They have a scope of what they focus on, and that's what they do. And so I wanted to talk to you today about the tests that you should ask for. If things aren't adding up, don't seem right, these are the things that I'm going to recommend that you ask your doctor for. And if your doctor will not do these tests, then you need to reach out to your health coach called Health Coach Tavia at healthcoachtavia.com. And she will be your girl, and she will definitely get this rocking and rolling for you and get you the road to wellness and get you some answers. All right. So we're going to dive right into what I did a little thing. If you are on my Facebook, a Facebook friend, you might have saw this. I did a survey last week about, does your doctor check for your nutrients? Does your doctor do regularly? And when I mean regularly, I mean like every year to 2 years. Okay. And I just did a poll asking yes or no. I didn't want, any controversy or any jibber jab of anything going back and forth. I just simply wanted to know. And what the results were, we had 33 answers, and 18 said yes and 15 said no. So it was pretty much about split. However, I did want to preface this because I did see some people commented about some other, how do I want to say this? There were some specifications, I guess, or some exceptions, because some people said yes, but they had to actually ask for it. All right. So, or they had to beg for their doctor to actually do these tests for them. And so not everybody was just like, their doctor brought it up. In my eyes, that's how I read it, was their doctor just didn't bring it up and say, oh yeah, let's just check your nutrients. Now, when I say nutrients, that's a big word. And there's nutrients, different nutrients that we need in our bodies. There's minerals, right? There's vitamins. There's different nutrients that our bodies need. So again, that, we need to really ask the questions and be more specific. So I just want to talk specifically right now about one nutrient that is very, very important, and that is vitamin D. And you may be hearing a lot about this right now because of the pandemic and what's going on with the Rona. And a lot of people say, take your vitamin D, take your vitamin D. A lot of times people say take your vitamin D in the wintertime because our vitamin D levels drop and we don't get enough vitamin D. We just don't because of the sun. And you know what, guys, even if you live in sunny Florida, you still need to take vitamin D. I hate to tell you this, but not everybody metabolizes vitamin D properly either. And if you have ongoing problems, other things going on with your body, you're going to have a problem producing vitamin D and converting it to the nutrients you need. So I want to talk a little bit about vitamin D for just really, really quick. So what is vitamin D? It's a fat-soluble vitamin. Vitamin D is so good for the immune system, of course, but it's good for so much else, so many things, right? Vitamin D is actually great for your mood. And it's great for depression. So if you are on antidepressants, and if you have not had your vitamin D levels checked and your doctor is giving you antidepressants, you need to ask for a vitamin D test. Now, I want to also preface this by saying too, vitamin D is not a regular test. So everybody that answered yes to my survey, I want you to go back and look and see if your doctor actually checked vitamin D. And the reason why it's not always in there, guys, is because it's not covered by insurance. I got a letter every time I get my vitamin D levels checked that says, I'm sorry, but you are not going to be covered by insurance. This is not a standard test. It blows my mind that vitamin D isn't a standards test, but you know what? It should be. And it kills me that it's not a standard test. Anyways, so everybody that answered yes, I want you to go back and look and look at your vitamin D. And then I want you to look at your vitamin D levels, okay? Because vitamin D is, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I got my vitamin D levels checked, but they have no clue what their levels are. I thought mine was perfectly normal. I take 5,000 IU every day, guys. And mine were still low. Yep, mine were still low. Little Miss Vitamin D girl here, they were still low. So my doctor's like, nope, I need you up in this range. So we bumped up mine to 10,000 IU a day, and we got my D levels into like a mid-range, a good, healthy range. So it's super, super important to get your levels checked and know your levels. If you don't know them, today, if I asked you, what are your vitamin D levels? You'd be like, I don't know. Most people would say that. They don't know. And is it an optimal range, or is it just like in range? Another point I want to make about this. Again, there's optimal range, and then there's just the range of the pathological range that says, oh, if you're between 50 and 100, you're good. Okay, fine. That's pathological. That's like grouping a bunch of people. And optimal range means how you should be working optimally for a healthy immune system. And that's super important to know the difference too. When I get blood work, and I do blood work, by the way, for my clients, I don't take your blood, by the way, you go to the lab, just so you know. But I will order blood work for you. And I look at the functional range or the optimal range. I don't look at the pathological range. The pathological range tells me you're one of 50 people, and you're good, like the average Joe, right? But you're not the average Joe. I'm here to tell you, you are unique down to your own DNA. You are unique because you have stress. You have kids, you have a job, you have things, you may have a pre-existing condition, you may be going through something or had something in the past. You are unique. And these are the things, again, that I, as a functional nutritional practitioner and health coach, look at these for you. Again, maybe I'm tooting my own horn here right now, but no, I'm not. I'm just sharing with you the differences. So you are educated enough to know the differences when you go to the doctor and he says, oh, you're fine. And then you look at it and go like, oh, I'm fine. And maybe you're fine with being fine. That's fine. I'm good with whatever you want to do. But if you want to know what you should be optimally and what it should be for you, then that's where a health coach comes into place, specifically me. So let's get back to vitamin D, right? Vitamin D is great for the bones, right? When we were kids and said, drink your milk because you get vitamin D, it's great for the bone development, right? I mean, yes, absolutely. And as we age, and women, as we age and go through perimenopause, we definitely need to have that vitamin D because of our bone, right? We don't want osteoporosis. That was nice, Tavia. Porosis setting in. So taking vitamin D is great for that, right? I mentioned also if you have depression, vitamin D is something you really need to look at. If you are on antidepressants or have been prescribed antidepressants, make sure your doctor checks those levels, please. It's funny to me that people will just prescribe an antidepressant and not look at those levels. So yes, by all means, I really want you to check those levels for you if you are on any sort of antidepressants. Gosh, you guys, we can get vitamin D in our food. Liver, butter, cereal, cheese. Vitamin D is fortified in a lot of cereals as well. So let's just talk about like some great benefits that you can get from proven benefits from taking vitamin D. Okay. So like I said, for one, it's great for your bone health, right? But it's also considered a pro-hormone because the body is able to produce its own by absorbing sunlight on the skin. So isn't that crazy? It's actually not a vitamin, but it's a prohormone. What? So the body needs to store a healthy amount of vitamin D in order to absorb phosphorus and be able to maintain normal levels of calcium. Fun fact. Vitamin D is also necessary for the maintenance of strong bones and teeth, like I just said. But it also gives you protection such as diseases, which we want to stay away from, like the C word, cancer, multiple sclerosis. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. Type 1 diabetes. I just get so excited about this stuff, you guys. So sometimes my words jumble together. Forgive me. So we want to, if you are a diabetic, we definitely need you to be on some vitamin D, guys. It's going to help with that diabetes management and help with those insulin levels. Obviously, vitamin D offers the immune support we need, right? If you have any kind of autoimmune condition, any kind of sickness going on, even if you're not sick, you need to be on vitamin D. It helps the lungs, the cardiovascular system. And again, it offers so many more benefits than I can even name. The skin, it helps the skin, helps your muscles. It helps if you're they say flu season. Guys, there isn't a flu season. It's called the sugar season. I'll get into that some other time. But that's when our immune systems dip down because we just bombarded it with sugar from, let's start in October. What's in October? Halloween. Boom. Then we go to Thanksgiving, more sugar, pumpkin pie. Then we go to December. Oh my gosh, all the parties, more sugar, sugar, sugar. It's not a flu season. It's a sugar season. It's a depressed immune system, lack of light. So that is why we need this vitamin D. And just again, overall, right, helps with these autoimmune diseases that are disorders, that are going around. Lupus, Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, leukemia. It helps leukemia and colon cancer. All right. Helps your cholesterol. If you have cholesterol issues, you need to be on vitamin D. Oh my gosh. Lower levels of vitamin D is a big correlation with higher cholesterol. So again, we need to get your vitamin D looked at if you have cholesterol issues. Another bonus, if you are trying to lose weight, guys, make sure your D levels are good. A study found that when you get vitamin D in your system, you're going to have a better way of losing that weight and maintaining a healthier weight. Okay. So how do we get vitamin D in our bodies? We get it from fatty fish. We get it from canned tuna. We get it from milk, fortified milk. We can get it from fortified orange juice. You can also get it in cereal, eggs. They all have great vitamin D. And then nonetheless, if you are not a connoisseur of any of those foods above, you can supplement. And even if you consume those foods, I recommend that you supplement. Okay. So, all right. So those are all the vitamin D stuff that I want to point out. I also want to talk about a couple other things that are missing in the world of the nutrients department. And these are some basics, like your vitamin B, right? Vitamin B, vitamin C. Those should definitely be checked as well. Your homocysteine. So a lot of doctors check your B12 levels, and that goes hand in hand with your homocysteine. What is homocysteine? It basically is kind of how your motor is running, is how I'll explain it. But B12 and homocysteine go hand in hand. It affects it can be an indicator or a marker of heart disease. But aside from B12, B5 and B6 are also essential at checking as well. And I do a test called an organic acids test. You may or may not have heard of it, but it's very comprehensive, and we check all of these things. In addition to the vitamin C, your CoQ10 levels, your glutathione markers. What the heck is glutathione? I want to touch on that for just a second. Glutathione is basically it's a detoxification. Our bodies naturally produce glutathione. And what it does is it helps us detox all the crap out. I'll just say it, right? Glutathione detoxes the crap. When we have a suppressed immune system, when we have something else going on, like with me with Lyme, anyone with an autoimmune disease, thyroid issues, we have a problem dumping the toxins. And that glutathione can get really, really low. And so it's super essential to find out if you are detoxing properly. If you're not detoxing properly and you're not feeling good, ding, 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 we might need to check your glutathione levels. And again, this is a thing that most doctors won't check on it, unless you ask for it, or unless they're maybe a functional medicine doctor or a holistic doctor. Usually most general practitioners will not. I'm not saying all, because we have some fabulous doctors out there, and thank you for your service. We love them. But not everybody does. And it's not their fault, guys. It's just because that's not their scope of practice necessarily. They just want to get you in, say you have some migraines going on. They're like, okay, what's going on? They might prescribe you migraine medicine, right? And then be on your way. But they're not going to go down deep and dirty and talk about, why are these migraines happening? Are we not detoxing? Is it a thyroid issue? Is it a hormone issue? Is there something else going? Is there a parasite? Is there something going on with your gut? They don't dig deep and dirty. Some of them, they just don't have time. And so that's why, again, why Health Coach Tavia is talking to you today. And this is why you need to talk to someone that thinks outside the box. If it's not me, you need to find someone that does. Okay. So there's plenty of practitioners out there that think outside the box. If you don't want to talk to me, I can refer you to someone else that's wonderful in your hometown. So there's people, I have connections all over the United States. So I'd be happy to refer you out. Okay. Let me get off my soapbox about homocysteine, B12, vitamin deficiency. I want to talk about, going back to the glutathione. So we need to make sure glutathione is a marker, and we need to make sure that is checked. And again, if you're sick and that hasn't been checked, get it checked. If you need me to check it, I'll check it for you. Okay. The last thing I really want to talk to you about is candida and yeast. Ew, gross, right? What is candida and yeast? So many people have heard about a yeast infection. Women, we get them, but you know what? Men get them too. And it's not just down there. I'm sorry to say, yeast is not just down there in the lower extremity department. Yeast can be a systemic problem in your entire body. A little short story. I had one of my patients come into me, and she had itching. She was itching all over, and she had all these allergy tests done. And they showed some things from foods, and she had eliminated gluten, dairy, eggs, all the things, right, that would cause itching, if you will, or allergic response, which is great. And that's, kind of a starting point. Anyways, she's been doing this for almost a year and a half, 2 years, and nothing was coming up. And she finally reached out to me, and we did this test on her, the organic acids test. And I was just like, I just had this hunch in the back of my head. I was like, I think this is like a candida issue, a yeast problem, or a mold problem. Candida, yeast, mold are all kind of in the same category, just so you know. And I was just like, itching, there's an allergic response. And if the basics weren't being accomplished with elimination of diet, which is usually what we go to, we start with first, then we did deeper. Sorry, had a drink of water. So anyways, we dug a little bit deeper with my patient here, and ding, 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 we got the test back about 12 days later. It's exactly what I suspected. And she had high yeast and mold levels in her body. And so I actually sent her on to a doctor that treats that, because that's outside my scope of practice as far as treating that to on a higher level. We can still treat it from supplements and a holistic approach. I can do that with you and work with you on that. Again, but I do want to preface this also by saying I do not treat any condition with medication. I do not diagnose anybody with anything. This is clearly, I saw a marker that was elevated, and I saw a red flag, and then I sent her to the doctor, and she was treated with the doctor. The doctor officially diagnosed her. So I do want to preface that by saying I do not diagnose you. I do not treat you in that way. If I see something, I will refer you on. Full disclosure there. I do not diagnose or treat. That being said, so she went to the doctor, and the doctor concurred with the tests that I sent on to him. And I said, we need to get this girl help. And now she's getting the help she needs. So there's an example of something, if things didn't work, she tried many things that I would have tried with her as well. And she was reaching, so now we got her some answers. So candida can cause brain fog. Candida can cause itching. Obviously, you can see thrush sometimes on babies' mouths. It looks like a white coating. That's a yeast, an overgrowth. Adults have it too. I've seen it on adults. Candida can cause a lot of infections, a lot of gut issues, a brain fog, like I said, joint pain, headaches. It's bad. It's an infection. And what is it caused by? Well, guys, unfortunately, sugar is a big culprit in this department. We're inundated with sugar, guys. We consume, gosh, back in the 1800s, they consumed like 10 pounds of sugar per year. We're at 200 pounds. 200 pounds of sugar. Some of you probably drink and eat more than 200 pounds. But I'm just saying. So, I mean, and I'm guilty too. I mean, we all eat sugar, right? But sugar loves yeast and it feeds off that. It's just like a nice little bug and it keeps growing and it can go in the joints and it can make all this inflammation in your body. It's just nasty. And I'm going to say a lot of people have this problem and a lot of people don't know it. So if you are out there and you're like, God, this might be me, get into my office or do a consult with me and let's talk about possibilities of what this might be going on with you. Is it a yeast problem? Is it a candida infection? And let's rule it out and, get you feeling better. Sometimes you may need prescription medication and beyond that. And that's fine. And like I said, I can refer you out to a doctor that I know that can help you. But candida is just awful. It's awful and it can cause so many problems and it's a fungus. It's fungal, and then the other thing too, with my patient here is like, we need to find the source, why is she having all this inflammation and this mold and yeast problem? So we got to see if it's coming from her house. And you can do what's called mold eradication. And we need to find the source. Finding the source is key to eradicating it from her body. And then we have to do some detoxification of her own body. And going back to the word glutathione, remember we just talked about glutathione? She needs some extra glutathione. Just saying, glutathione would help push some of that out. So another little FYI, you guys, glutathione is amazing. It can help push out some of these toxins out of your body that we need to so desperately get out of our body. So, all right. So, gosh, we've talked about vitamin D. We've talked about homocysteine and B12. We talked about candida. We've talked about glutathione. We've talked about all the things that you should think about or look at if things aren't adding up and if you just want to know, if you just want to know, hey, what are my vitamin C? What are my vitamin D? I think you should know. And if you don't know, I think you should know. I'm just going to say that because the things we don't know, and then all of a sudden 6 months down the road, we're in the ER or we're like, what's going on? And the ER, I'm here to tell you, probably is not going to check your vitamin and nutrients levels. They won't, guys. Sorry. They'll check the basics, your CBC, CBP panel. They'll check all that. That's fine. And when we love our ER, again, hands out to the ER. We love ER people because they're there for a reason, right? If I break my bone, don't give me some vitamin C. Put a cast on me, do what I need to do. Right. So there's a place and a purpose for that. If I'm having a heart attack, please don't give me, a vitamin C or something, send me to the hospital. Although I want to touch on that, say, why are you having a heart attack? So again, back it up. There's always an underlying cause, guys, except if you fall and break your bone and it's an accident, right? Again, there's a cause, you fell, but there's always a reason. There's always an underlying cause to any disease that you're going through, any disease that you've been diagnosed with. There's always a cause. And that's something I've learned over the last 10 years and what it took me to this place where I am today. You need to find out the root cause, because if you're just slapping a pill or a potion on it, it's not going to resolve itself. The problem's not going to resolve itself. The problem's going to be there, but it's going to be suppressed or it's going to be, kind of put on hold. Now, again, I want to preface this by saying also, yes, there are time and place for medications that we need to have. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not saying get off your medication by any means. Take your medication as directed by your doctor. But what I'm saying is there's always an underlying cause. Cholesterol. For example, let me talk about cholesterol for a second. Cholesterol, high cholesterol. People a lot of times say, oh, it's in my genes. It runs in the family. Okay. Yes, there are genetic components. Absolutely. 100%. There are things. But I will tell you right now, cholesterol is produced primarily in the liver when we have a toxicity. Overtoxicity is going to make that cholesterol go up, up, and up. So when people come to me and they have high cholesterol, I'm like, what is your liver doing? What are you putting in your body? What are you eating to make and create this more cholesterol? We can manage it with diet and food, and exercise. We can manage it. We really can. Even if you have a genetic component, I don't want you to despair. There are things that you can do that can manage it and keep it in an optimal range for you. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I hope I'm making all sense to you guys today. And I hope this is resonating with all of you out there right now. I thought this was going to be a really good talk today based on what I did on that little survey that I did on Facebook. I thought you guys could appreciate this podcast today. And I just want to let you know, I am out there. I'm here for you. And these are, again, I do not diagnose, treat anything of that nature. I'm not saying that. I am full disclosure of that. But what I'm saying is I'm here to help you and guide you. If something doesn't seem right, look right, ask the question, ask for more information, and make sure it's your body. It's your life. My God, today's gone already, halfway down. Time is ticking. What are you waiting for? It's not, tomorrow isn't promised. Yesterday is gone, right? So I want you to focus on your body and what it means to you and how you want to live your life. You only have one body, guys, only one. And what you put into it, what you feed it, how you treat it, it's very indicative of how you're feeling. So if you want to feel better, then make a change today. Make that thought of like, I need to do something for me. By God, it's not selfish, you guys. It's not selfish to think of yourself when it comes to your health. If you are not good, you cannot serve your husband. You cannot serve your children. You cannot serve your parents. You cannot serve your kids. You cannot serve anybody. When I was laying on my bed 5 years ago and I was so sick and I told Jeff, I was like, there's something more I need to be doing with my life than just laying here and suffering. And I knew it. I knew there was something I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to pay it forward. I wanted to help others. I wanted to get well and figure this crap out that I was going through and tell others that they don't have to do that either. That's my passion. It's become my purpose. My mess became my message. And my message to you today is simple. If the shoe doesn't fit, it's not the right shoe, guys. And if things don't add up, it's not the right calculation. So I want to end on that note. I'm here for you. I love you. Go make it an incredible day. Do what you love. Take care of your bodies. Take care of your life. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast. To learn more about the topics mentioned on today's show, please visit sweetcoachtavia.com.